Hello and welcome back. It's puzzle time with Sudoku Sleuth, and today we're going to be playing Target Practice. So you can see here what appears to be like a police indoor range for Target Practice, and Sleuth, I guess, having to do his regular test, regular Target Practice, I don't know, qualification. Can't imagine that Sleuth is particularly fond of guns, but at the same time, I imagine it just comes with the job. You just need to be familiar with it. At the same time, you never know. Sleuth could be living here in the UK, where I don't think police officers particularly carry guns. There's a few armed officers, but the vast majority don't carry it. Quite extraordinary, huh? Anyhow, one more thing I want to mention about today's puzzle before we get into it. So this puzzle is from Damo89. Now, if you don't remember Damo, we had his first puzzle on this channel a few days ago, a week ago, which was an extraordinary billiard one, and I absolutely need to link it up and make sure that you do play it and have a look at it, because it's just, if you love, sorry, not billiards, snooker, if you love the game, it's a fantastic homage to it. Anyhow, let's take a look at today's puzzle and rule sets. So, Target Practice by Damo89. Rules-wise, well, I think, fairly obvious. It's almost like, yeah, it's almost as if it's, with the diagonals and the corners, it's almost as if like it's a scope view, and very much you're trying to hit the target here in the center. So rules wise, we've got normal Sudoku rules apply. That means place the digits 1 to 9 once each in every row, column, and 3x3 box. We know that one. Digits may not repeat along the both marked diagonals, so the blue lines are the diagonals. You cannot repeat digits. If you have a look at each diagonal, it is 9 cells long. So that really does mean it's just another set of the digits 1 to 9 once each. Digits along an arrow sum to the total in the arrow circle. So for example, if this cell is 1 and this cell is 2, this would have to be 3. Essentially, every arrow will sum up to something, and the value has to be written in the circle. If you've got multiple arrows coming out of the same circle, well, this would have to add up to 3. These 3 cells would have to add up to 3. Essentially, each arrow is independently adding up to whatever's inside the circle. We have black dots. I can see just the one, where one is digit is double the other. So if this cell here is 2, this would have to be 1 or 4 to make sure that one cell is indeed double the other. And white dots, digits separated by a white dot, are consecutive. So if that does end up being a 4, this would have to be 2 or 3. You can see I've absolutely destroyed normal Sudoku rules here. So this cell would have to be 2 or 3 to make, 2 or 3? 3 or 5. I can do maths, I promise, to make sure that it is indeed consecutive with the 4. Lastly, not all dots are necessarily given. So if that 2 is next to a 1, you could say that, it's either connected by a white dot or a black dot, as in they're consecutive, as well as being in a 2-to-1 ratio. The absence of both here isn't a problem, because not all dots are necessarily given, so negative constraints do not apply. So that's all the rules we have for today. It is a weekend puzzle. It is a 2-star difficulty rated puzzle. Highly rated one as well. So looking forward to solving more from Damo. And as I imagine, you would be as well. So if you want to give this a go, link will be in the description down below as usual for you to do so. And with that said, I'm going to restart the clock and see how I get on. I think one of my fastest introductions. They've been a bit rambly recently. So, like, the most obvious thing that I can see, so there's very little on the grid other than the arrow sums. Let's just state the obvious. So whatever the break-in is, it's something to do with these, and it's much more likely to do with these two than it is with these two. But regardless, you can see that every single one of these arrow sum circles has at least one 3-cell arrow that has to have unique digits. So these cells, at an absolute minimum, are 1, 2, and 3, and therefore this would be at least 6, but obviously you can go all the way up to 9. Same for this one, 3 cells. Same for this one, 3 cells. And yes, same for this one, 3 cells. So can I actually? Yeah, I can. So all of these are 6, 7, 8, 9. We know that. But I think these are definitely more restricted than that. And the way I'm going to sort of demonstrate that is you've got 3 cells here, you've got 4 and 5. So even if I add up the absolute minimum in here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I'm already at 15 between 2 arrows. So that's telling me that at an absolute minimum, I need to hit 7.5. Hopefully that made sense, because each arrow will take half of the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. In this case, obviously, it's adding up to an odd digit. It doesn't work. So really, the minimum is 16. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, for example, to make sure that these 2 cells and these 3 cells are equal. And therefore, this is at least an 8, 9. And yes, the same logic applies here. This is at least an 8, 9 because we've got 5 cells that have to be unique in the same box. All right, getting interesting. So let's think about this cell now. Yeah, with all the black crop key dots and white dots, this is definitely the arrow to look at. So let's think about 8 and let's think about 9. What are the ways that we can do this? And bear in mind all of these constraints between the black dots and the white dots. So one possibility is that, I say one possibility, most likely there is a 1 on here. There's one possibility, which is 2, 3, 4 to add up to 9, but let's explore the ones with 1. So to get to 8, I have 1, 3, 4 and 1, 2, 5. Yeah, I can't make 1, 3, 4 work in here, because what 2 cells am I actually going to put on this black crop key dot to make sure that one of them is double the other? And the answer is none of them is going to work. So 1, 3, 4 is not even an option in here. Now, if we're getting to 9, the other possibilities are 1, 2, 5, sorry, not 5, 1, 2, 6, but that also doesn't work because this would be the 1, 2, and then somehow the 6 is consecutive with 1 or 2. That's not going to work either. 1, 3, 5, equally a challenge. The 5 can be in here, but obviously 1 and 3 are not double each other. I think the last option that we have for 9 is 2, 3, 4. Yeah. So in this example, this would be 1, 2. No, hang on. Why was I was having a senior moment. Sorry about that. 1, 2, 5 doesn't work. 1, 2 here does. 5 doesn't. So that was nonsense as well. So this is not an 8. This is a 9. That's our first digit. Only took me 3.5 minutes to actually sort of figure that out. Is it really forced to be 2, 3, 4? I think it is. So what were the other options? 1, 2, 6, 1, 3, 5. I don't think there's any other option. And yeah, because of the white crop key dot, this doesn't work. So this is 2, 3, 4. This is 2, 4. This is 3. Lovely. Which I think forces this to be 1, 8. Because, essentially 2, 7 is not available. 3, 6 is not available. 4, 5 is not available. What other pairs add up to 9? Well, it can only be 1, 9. These are now 5, 6, 7. This can't be a 6 because that can't be a 3. So this is not a 6. And this is therefore 2 or 4. And we've got digits, ladies and gentlemen, and a bunch of... Up here, this is not 2, 3, 4. So this has to have a 1. If you don't have a 1 on a 3-digit arrow that's trying to add up to a single digit, then the only possibility is 2, 3, 4 to get to 9. With the 3 gone, there has to be a 1 in here. And it's not 1, 2, 3, so that is not a 6. It's also not 1, 2, 4, so that's not a 7. Now, if it is an 8, it's not 1, 3, 4, it'll be 1, 2, 5, that's an option. No, it's not, because it breaks it to, because if this is 1, 2, 5, essentially this would have to be 4 and 7, which clearly adds up to 11, not 9. So 8 is not an option, that's 9 again. And from the options that have 1, well, 1, 3, 5 is not available. It's got to be 1, 2, 6, which gives me a 4, which gives me a 5, which removes a 5 from these 2 cells. We'll keep going. So this cell now, well, I mean, this arrow sum, I should say, but I'm looking at the 3s because also the 2, 3, 4 in here is quite helpful. Let's think about this for a second. So either there is, it's back to the same challenge. Either there are, if this can't be 2, 3, 4 again, because this cell can be none of them. So once again, there has to be a 1 in here to get to either 8 or 9. Okay. What are my options? Seems like there's a lot of options right now. This cell in particular is fairly restricted. So if it's not 2, 3, 4, it's either 1, which is obvious, 5, but a maximum of 6 if I put 1, 2, and 6 in here. So if this is 8, no, I mean, I could put the 1 in here and I can have 3, 4. It's not forced to be 2, 5. Starting to get tricky, isn't it? Is it just my imagination? I don't know if I want to pencil mark all the options. It just looks like way too many options. How am I going to be able to exclude some options? This 9 maybe, so it kind of work my way around back here and then down there. That feels like a valid choice. Maybe. No, it's not a valid choice. Here, 2, 3, 4. What are these two cells? So if this is a 1, I've broken it because the next two cells are 5, 6. 2, 3, 4, and 1 are all gone. And this adds up to 11, not a single digit. So long way of saying this is not a 1. This is 5 or 6. There has to be a 1 on here. And the 1, because it's already on this 3-cell arrow, this is the 1. And now this is 7 or 8, depending on whether this is 8 or 9. Better. Now these cells, so if it is 8, it's forced to be 1, 2, 5. And if it is 6, if it is 9, it's forced to be 1, 2, 6. No, it's not forced to be 1, 2, 6. It could be 1, 3, 5. So this is 1, 2, 3. And I can still have 1, 3, and 5 in here to get to 9. Yep, that makes more sense. I don't really have anything that's sort of removing choices. Don't know if I want to explore the options for the diagonal. So, if this is 9, this will be 8. We know that 1, 8 is gone. 2, 7, would that work? Yes, I could do 3, 5 in here. 3, 6 doesn't actually. 3, 6 would break this because it would become 1, 2, 5. Since the 3 is gone and the 6 is gone. And that would add up to 8, not 9. So 3, 6 is not an option. And then 4, 5. Well, specifically because of this 5, 4, and 5. I think that is an option. That would leave 6 in here, and I could do 1, 2, 6. So if this is 9, this is certainly achievable. If this is 8, this is 7. This is 1, 2, 5. Forget the 7. This is 1, 2, 5. What are these two cells? That's not going to work because 1, 7 is gone, 2, 6 is gone, and 3, 5 is gone. So that's not 8, that's 9, that's 8. And it actually doesn't give us any more digits after all of that consideration, let's put it that way. Interesting. Rest of this row, 5, 6, 7 with a 7 for sure. Yeah, I think we're going to have to go back up to row 1. So this cell, what are my options? So I'm going to use the diagonal action. I'm going to start here because of the white crop dot. It's not 1 or 3. So my options are 2, 4, and I think 5 is too big. You can see if this is 5, even if this is trying to minimize 4, that's already at 9 plus another digit. That's not going to work. So this is limited to 2 or 4, and this is limited to 1 or 3. If that's 4 and I go up to 5, that is ridiculous. That's already at 9. And that would be 10. So this is 2413, bunch of low digits. And I could do 213. No, but so I'm just trying to think about possibilities. Can I actually make a 6? So this would have to be 123. Well, what are these cells? Because essentially 1-5 is not an option. Could I do 2-4? What would happen? That would be 135. That would have to be the 1, which it isn't because of this 1-8. Yeah, since this is 2 or 4, and this is 2 or 4. Sleuth, wake up. Just Sudoku. This can't be 2-4 pair, and this can't be 1-5. So no 6. Could I even make a 7? 2-1 to get to 3 with a 4? I don't see the problem with that, actually. 2-1-4, that seems possible. 8, 2-1 with a 5, or 4-3 with a 1. And then 9, 2-1 with a... No, 2-1-6 doesn't work. It breaks the cell. So it'd have to be 4-3-2. Still an extraordinary amount of options, isn't it? 1, 2, 4. What are these if it's 7? So 1, 2, 4. So this cell is not 1, 2, or 4. Presumably I could do 3, 4. That's fine, isn't it? Yeah, I'm not going to try and pencil mark all of these. I mean, low digits, quite possibly a low digit too. Maybe that's the way to think about this. Two, 1. That would be 6. What would this be? Sorry, I'm just having to work through. This is a little bit trickier than I was expecting. So let me just kind of enumerate my options again. 7 was 2, 1, 4. 8 was, I could do 2, 1, 5. I could also do 3, 4, 1. And 9 was only 2, 3, 4. These were all my options. And what I think I want to do, yeah, is probably think about the implications for these two cells and this cell. Because so far we haven't placed 7 and 8 anywhere in any of these. So let's think about options for the 9 for a moment. So could I do 3 and 6? That would force this to be 1, 2, which would eliminate all of these options and this option. Did that make sense? I probably need to lay them out as such. So these are the options for these cells. If I put 3, 6 in here, you can see, first off, because these cells have 1 and 2, that's an issue. Because the 6 would put this another 1, 2, and then I have 3 cells that need to be 1, 2. That's not going to work. And the 3, of course, breaks both of these options. The 3 in here is not possible either. 4 with a 5, let me just think through that. So these two don't work. This doesn't work, and this doesn't work. This is very, very restricted. Not 6. This is 7 or 8. This is 1 or 2. And now it removes all the options that had to have 1 and 2 in here. So this can't be 2, 1, because it breaks this cell. So this has to be 4, 3. And now my options are 1, 3, 4 or 2, 3, 4. So this is the other 1, 2. This is 1, 2, 1, 2. That's a 6. That is not a 6. The other 7, 8 is in here. 5, 7, 8 with a definite 5. And that's row 1 done. Now, this is either 8 or 9. That's not a 7. If it's 8, it's 1, 3, 4. Let's think about options for this cell then for a moment. pardon me, this is, like I said, having to think through all of these options in my head is trickier than I expected. Let's just think through this. Pardon me, pardon me. So, 1, 3, 4. So I can't do 1, 7 because of this one. I could do 2, 6, I think. That would leave me with 1, 3, 5 here. So that does work. And then can I do 3, 5? I think the answer to that is no. Because, no, that could be 1, 2, 6. That could be 3. That could be 5. So 8 works out quite well, actually. If it's 9 with 2, 3, 4, so this is not 1, 8. Could it be 2, 7? That would have to be the 2. That would have to be the 7. Yeah, looks possible. And then that would be 1, 3, 5. If I can somehow eliminate some of the options that are down here, that would be useful. So 2, 3, 4, that would be 7. I think 3, 6 doesn't work, yes, because it breaks both 1, 3, 5 and 1, 2, 6. So 3, 6, same kind of challenge that we had earlier, breaks all the options here. And then 4, 5 is not possible because the 4 sees all of these cells. So 8, the only option for 8 was 2 and 7. Sorry, for 9 was 2 and 7. And then 1, 3, 5. I mean, it's doable. It is quite the stretch. Yeah, not sure where to go next. Come on, Sleuth. Where do I go next? Probably the diagonals. I haven't really spent a lot of time thinking about these. Two, 6, 3, 5. 3, 5 surely doesn't work. Yeah, 1, 2, 6. Yeah, essentially, these 2 cells would add up to 8, and then these 3 cells would add up to 8 in a different way. So they're never actually directly competing. So can I eliminate the 2, 7 somehow? That would be 1, 3, 5. That would be 2, 7. That would be 8. Sorry, that would be 9. And then in here would be 3, 9. Sorry, 3, 8. Not sure. Maybe I should be thinking more, like some more Sudokus, maybe 7, 8. I don't see how Sudoku's going to help us. The diagonals. The diagonals, 6, 5, 3. That's 1, 3. That removes, what was it? 3, 5 as an option. There's definitely a 2 now. It's either 2, 6 or 2, 7 to make this 8 or 9. That 5 removes the 5, 4 option in here. That's 2, 7. It's progress, but let's be fair. It's not like I'm running away with the puzzle now. 4, 6. So in here was an 8 or 9 and a 6 or 7. Yeah, I'm not going to pencil mark that. Just looking around the puzzle for anything I've missed. Often the case, just normal Sudoku that I've just missed out on that's just slowing progress. So 9 on this diagonal. So I mean, maybe it's time to sort of think about this diagonal because we actually completed like a ton of it. So where does 1 go for this diagonal, for example? Well, it can't be these 2 cells. It can't be this cell. 1 is in one of 2. And specifically 1 and 8, that's not a 1, that's a 1. That gives me 2. That gives me 7. That gives me 1. That was the way that was meant to be done. Dear, oh dear. 8, which forces this to be 2, 6, which makes this 7, 9. Lovely. And then I was going to say 9 has to be in one of these 2 cells because 9 is not down here or up there on this diagonal. We've got 1, 2. I mean, 3 could be anywhere. 4 and 8. That's probably not the path to pursue anymore. 9, it's not these 2 cells. Could it be on the diagonal? It can be. I could just have a 9 in here. 7 gave me 6, 7. The 7 gave me 2 and 7. 4, 6. So this is 3, 4, 5, 8. 8 is in one of these 2 cells. Not exactly brilliant. I feel like I just need to pay more attention to the diagonals, I think. 1, 3, 8. 4. So where does 2 go? Could be in a lot of places. So this diagonal is 2, 5, 6, and 7. And frankly, it could be any of them. That's not a 2, that's not a 7. It can really be pretty much anywhere. That's not a 2 either because it is 2. That's about it. And then these diagonals, well, I mean, these are obviously could be 9s. But beyond that was, what was it, 3, 4, 8? That can't be 8. Yeah, but these could be. So that's the 8. And then 3 and 4 seem remarkably unrestricted. I did say 3, 4, not 2, 4. That's pretty busy. It's the kind of busy where I'll be tempted to actually use some of the tools so that you guys are not just watching me. 2, 5, 6, 7, 9. 9 is not here. 9 is there. What was wrong with 9 on this diagonal? I could have had 9 in any of these, surely. Well, this can be a 9. Yeah. One is in here. I'm going to have to do this by digits, it seems. So 1. Yeah, that's good enough. 2s. Yeah, it'd be really good if I could actually figure out which one is which. 3s. 4s. No 4 here. 5s, I've got so few of them. I mean, this is not 5, 6, 7 anymore. I can tidy up a bit. And that 6 gave me 4 and 6. Hasn't necessarily given me much more. It's just put a 4 in one of 2 cells. I mean, I'll take anything right now. And that was 6s, wasn't it? 6s in here. 7. One of 2 cells. That's about it. 8. 9. Feels like knowing whether this is 9. I mean, intuitively, this feels like a 9. The reason I'm saying that is just like everything around this being 9, 9, 9. Shame about this being an 8. Otherwise, that would have forced a 9 in here. But a lot of things are pointing in general towards this being a 9. The challenge is this could also be a 9. Don't know how much it would help me if I actually make, determine that, but that is not a 6. This is only 2 or 5. This 6. I am going to cheat, pardon me. Check pencil marks on. Sleuth, like, seriously, pay attention. Okay. Whoops. And this is not an 8. 1 8 pair. That was a 9 for ages. Right. Cheating off. Back to struggling again. 7 9. Not 9. 3 8. That is 8. That is 7. That is not 7. That is not 9 either. This is now 5 6 7. Can I do better? 2 5 6 7. I'm sure I could. This is right. I'm just going to leave pencil mark checking on. Sorry about that, because otherwise this will be a very dull video of me just struggling to scan. And I think you guys deserve a little bit better than that. That is a 9. 9. 9 is restricted to these cells now and these 2 boxes. So that's 9's done for like a while. So I think just ignore the 9s for a bit. I genuinely can't think of better options than just doing a whole bunch of pencil marks. So I'm going to go for it. So the 3 is not up there. That's the 3. Essentially, what have I got? 3, 5, 6, 7, and then one more digit. I need a 9 in this column. That's the 9. And then I have 5, 6, 7 twice. Well, the 7 is none of these. That's the 7. That's not a 7. So this is 3, 5, 6. That is not a 6. That's a 2. That's a 6. That's not a 2. That's the only 2 left on the diagonal with a 5, 6 pair. That's a 2. Yeah, this is going to move a lot quicker now. This is 1, 4, 8, I'm going to say. That's not 8, 1, or 4. This digit we just know it is a 5. 5, 1, 2, not 1, 1, 3, 4, 8, and a 5. The 5, well, it's none of these cells. That's the 5. So this is 3, 4, or 8, and then 3, 4, or 8, and then 9. And the 8 obviously is not in here because of this 5, 8. So in here I've got a 3, 4, a 3, 4, and 6 and 7. Okay. I think I've got all I can out of the diagonals, haven't I? Probably. There's a 7 in here, 6 and 7. And then a 3, 4. And in here it's 3, 4, 9, 3, 4, 9, 5, 6 pair. So I probably should think about box 5 for a second. So I have another 3, 8. Here's something. 7. Oh, these are 7s. That's the only place for a 7, which gives me 6, which gives me 7, which means this is not 6 or 7. This is the 6. This is not. This is 7. Sorry, excuse me, because that's a 3, 4 pair. Which gives me 5, 6, not 6, not 5. So 3, 5, 4, 8. 4, 8, that's 3, 5. 3, 5. That's 4, 8. I don't see a problem with it being 4, 8. So I have another 3, 4, 8 in here. I mean, obviously not an 8. So we have another 3, 4, and whatever's left in there, which is a 2. And this 2 is not here. That's a 2. That's another 3, 4. 2 is in one of these 2 cells. Okay. 1, 3, 6, 8. And in here, we have another 3, 6, 8. Not sure where the 2 is, actually. 1, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. Maybe this column, keep coming across 6 and then... So I have essentially a 3, 8 plus 2 digits. They are 5 and 2. 2 is in here. 5 is in here. This is 3, 8. That is an 8. That is a 5. That is a 3. That is a 4. That is an 8. Right, let's just follow this all the way through. Not 3, not 4, not 3. That is 4. That is 8. That is 3, 9, 4, 3, 5, 1, 8, 2, 4. Right, so that's kind of basically done now. Not sure what was off with my scanning for this particular recording. So apologies for reverting to a bunch of tools to just help me along. That is a 4, that is an 8. I need a 3, which can only be in here, and then I need a 6 for the finish. It's a lovely puzzle demo, worthy of more than 189 souls in 27 days. I mean, I do seem to remember it being published a lot earlier. I mean, it's a lovely puzzle. I mean, nice concept with the target practice. Has a lot more classic Sudoku, which, as you've seen on many, many occasions, let's be fair, not particularly my strength. Hope that you guys enjoyed the puzzle and the video, and see you back for the next one. Bye-bye for now.